بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله نبينا محمد النبي الأمين صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Before I start the lecture, I would like to announce that this Sunday, inshallah, January the 8th, I'm leaving out of the country. So our next lecture will be Sunday, January the 29th. I'm coming back on the 25th. So from this Sunday, no lectures until I come back. Inshallah, the next lecture will be Sunday, January the 29th, inshallah. قبل أن نبدأ المحاضرة يا إخواني أريد أن أنبهكم بأنه اليوم يعني آخر محاضرة. أنا سأسافر خارج البلد يوم الأحد القادم وسأرجع في يوم 25 من هذا الشهر. فمحاضرتنا القادمة بإذن الله ستكون يوم الأحد الموافق 29 من شهر يناير بإذن المولى عز وجل. So our discussion for tonight is about سجود السهو, the prostration for forgetfulness. When you forget and you make a mistake in the salat, how do you make up that mistake? And we know that سجود السهو, the prostration for the forgetfulness, is for 3 reasons. Who can tell us these 3 reasons? إخواني عندنا 3 أسباب لسجود السهو. من يذكرنا بها؟ 3 types of mistakes if you make it in the salah. So then to make up these mistakes, you have to make سجود السهو at the end of the salat. Nobody knows it?
How many rak'ah you?
ترك السنة؟ لا. إجابة حلوة لكن سأبين هذا. So if you abandon or you do not do one of the sunnah in the salat, that does not make it as wajib for you to make sujood al-sahw. It's sunnah, you don't have to do it. So okay, an example, sujood al-tilawa in the salat. Someone is reading and he passed by an ayah that has a sujood. Sujood al-tilawa is sunnah. If he does not make sujood al-tilawa, he keeps on reciting. After the end of the salah, he does not have to make sujood al-sahw. And I was told before I came to this masjid one day, an imam was praying the salat and he passed by an ayah that has sujood al-sahw and he does not make sujood al-sahw, and that was a problem for people. So it was simple. There's no need for sujood al-sahw. There's no need for sujood al-sahw. It's sunnah. The same thing, for example, reading a surah after Surah Al-Fatiha in the first and in the second rak'ah is sunnah. So if an imam for Salatul Isha, he just reads Surah Al-Fatiha and says Allahu Akbar, goes for the ruku'. And same thing in the second rak'ah, finishes Al-Fatiha without reading any surah after Al-Fatiha and he makes the ruku'. There's no problem. The salat is accepted. The salat is sahih. But he did not do the sunnah. And it happened one day in this masjid in Salatul Jumu'ah, the imam does the same thing after Al-Fatiha, make the ruku', and it was a serious problem. A lot of people does not have knowledge upon this. So abandon a sunnah in the salat, not doing a sunnah in the salat, that does not make it a wajib for you to make sujood al-sahw, and that does not also invalidate your salat. Another example, the adhkar in the ad'iyah you say in the last rak'ah, after the tashahhud and after as-salatu al-ibrahimiyyah. يا إخواني اللي في الخلف أرخوا أصواتكم الله يرضى عليكم. My dear brothers who are in the back, keep your voice down please. من يريد الحديث يخرج إلى الخارج يا إخواني. هذا ما يرضي الله يا إخواني ولا يرضي رسوله. ما ينبغي هذا. So another example, after reading التشهد الأخير, reading الصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, we have a lot of ad'iyah, a lot of adhkar that we say after that, like اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك, and a lot of ad'iyah. If you don't say them, that does not invalidate your salat, and that does not make it an obligation on you to make sujood al-sahw. So sujood al-sahw for 3 reasons. Either al-naqs, al-ziyada, and al-shak. Al-naqs, decreasing in the salat. Al-ziyada, increasing in the salat. Al-shak, doubt. Increasing and decreasing what? Increasing a wajib or a pillar, a rukun in the salat. Decreasing that or increasing that. Or having a doubt. So an example of decreasing. I'm praying Salatul Isha. Salatul Isha is supposed to be 4 rak'at, right? So in the third rak'ah, I said for the tashahhud and make the salam without praying the fourth rak'ah. So that decreasing. So in that situation, what I have to do after making the salam, I have to make up the left rak'ah and make sujood al-sahw. And then increasing. Let's say I'm praying Salatul Dhuhr. Instead of praying it 4 rak'at, I prayed it 5 rak'at. So that increases in the salat. What I have to do, I have to pray, or I have to do sujood al-sahw. And I'm going to talk about when we should do it, after the salam or before the salam. And the doubt, an example for the doubt, I'm praying and I have a doubt. Is it the third rak'ah or the fourth rak'ah? Let's say Salatul Isha that we just prayed. And I'm praying and I have a doubt. Is this the third rak'ah or the fourth rak'ah? So in such situation, always in Islam, that we expel a-shak, the doubt, with certainty. So in this situation, what the certainty? The certainty is 3 rak'at. So I would take that and consider that as the third rak'ah and make another rak'ah, fourth rak'ah, and make sujood al-sahw. I repeat it again. Praying, all of a sudden I'm lost. Is it the third rak'ah or is it the fourth rak'ah? What do I have to do? It's the third. I take the least, always. Same thing if I'm making the tawaf. Let's say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses me and I go for the umrah and I'm making tawaf. I have to do 7 rounds. I'm in the 5th. But I have doubt. Is it the 5th or the 4th? So what do I have to do? I take the least. It's the 4th. So if you have doubt, you take the least and then you make sujood al-sahw. So 3 reasons make sujood al-sahw wajib in the salat. We have to do it decreasing or increasing or having a doubt about what we are doing in the salat. And I'm going to explain that in details bi'idhnillah. And as I said, that only applies to the arkan and wajibat in the salat. And one day, inshallah, I'm going to find a time we talk about arkan al-salat and wajibat al-salat. But the sunan, that does not apply to it. If you miss doing a sunnah in the salat, that does not make it as wajib for you to make sujood al-sahw. Okay, so Musa ibn Ahmed ibn Moussa Abu Najah, well, let me translate this. طبعا إخواني ما نتحدث عنه هو سجود السهو. ونعلم أنه 3 أسباب تجعل سجود السهو واجبا علينا. إما الشك وإما الزيادة وإما النقص. إما أن تزيد في الصلاة أو تنقص فيها أو تشك فيها. النقص والزيادة في الأركان وفي الواجبات. لا نتكلم عن السنن. فمن أنقص سنة من سنن الصلاة فلا يجب عليه أن يسجد للسهو. على سبيل المثال سجود التلاوة سنة من سنن الصلاة. فمن صلى ثم أثناء التلاوة مر بموضع فيه سجدة ولم يسجد فهذا لا يجب عليه أن يسجد سجود السهو لأن سجود التلاوة سجود يعتبر سنة وليس ركنا وليس واجبا من واجبات الصلاة. كذلك مثلا الأذكار التي تقال بعد التشهد الأخير والصلاة على النبي في أي ركعة أخيرة من أي صلاة. فهناك أدعية اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر ومن عذاب جهنم ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك وغير هذا من الأدعية. كل هذه سنن فإذا تركتها لا يجب عليك أن تسجد للسهو. وسأتكلم بإذن الله متى يجب عليك أن تسجد للسهو. هل بعد السلام أو بعد السلام قبل أو بعد. كل هذا يتعلق بنوع الخطأ الذي صدر منك أثناء الصلاة سواء كان نقصا أو زيادة أو كان شكا في الصلاة. Okay, so Musa ibn Ahmed ibn Moussa Abu Najah in his book زاد المستقنع says يشرع لزيادة ونقص وشك لا في عمد في الفرض والنافلة. لا في عمد في النفل في الفرض والنافلة. Something important that we have to understand. I said that we have 3 reasons to do or to make or the sujood al-sahw to be wajib upon you. Either to increase or decrease or to have a doubt. All of that has to be out of is that if it has to be not on purpose. If someone does it on purpose, so the salat is batila. Is it valid? Someone who increases a rak'ah in the salat. Let's say we're praying Salatul Dhuhr. It's 4 rak'ah. And he increases 1 rak'ah on purpose. So the salat is invalid. Why? Because any worship, any righteous deed, any ibadah we do, it has two conditions, two requirements, which is al-ikhlas and al-mutaba'ah. Al-ikhlas, doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and al-mutaba'ah, doing it as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it. Salatul Dhuhr consists of 4 rak'at. If someone does 5 rak'at, that salat is invalid. And also if he decreased intentionally, on purpose, instead of praying 4 rak'at, he prayed 3 rak'at, so that salat is invalid and is not accepted because it is not upon what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did. And sujood al-sahw could be wajib and could be sunnah. Could be wajib and could be sunnah. When it's wajib, when you miss a rukun in the salat, let's say someone misses making ruku' or misses making sujood or decrease or increase a rak'ah, so that's wajib upon him to make sujood al-sahw in order to make up that mistake he made in the salat. But sometimes he could do something that he doesn't have to do sujood al-sahw, but it's sunnah for him to do sujood al-sahw. In the ruku', instead of saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, he says Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. So he's saying something that's a part of the salat. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la is a part of the salat, but it's supposed to be in the sujood. But he said it in the ruku'. So in such situation, what he has to do is sunnah for him to do sujood al-sahw. Because what he increased in the salat is something that min jins al-salat, is a part of the salat, because that is said in al-sujood. But instead of saying it in al-sujood, he said it in al-ruku' by mistake. So in that situation, it's sunnah for him to do sujood al-sahw. It's not wajib upon him to do sujood al-sahw. But increasing, decreasing, a rukun or a wajib, or a rak'ah, or increasing a rak'ah, in such situation, it's wajib for him to do sujood al-sahw and to make up whatever he decreased in order to make up that salat. If he decreased 1 rak'ah, let's say he's praying through a salat that consists of 4 rak'ah, he decreased 1 rak'ah. So he has to do that rak'ah, and after that, he makes sujood al-sahw. In this way, that mistake is being made up, and there's no other problem if that salat is acceptable. But if he does something that's a part of the salat, somewhere else, is not in the proper place of that dhikr, of that action, so in such situation, it's sunnah for him to do sujood al-sahw. An example, in the ruku', instead of saying Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, he says Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. He says Subhana Rabbi. Instead of saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim in the ruku', he says Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. So in such situation, what he has to do is sunnah for him to do sujood al-sahw. If he does not do it, so his salat, inshaAllah, is acceptable and there is no any problem. Okay, he said, فَمَتَى زَادَ فِعْلًا مِنْ جِنْسِ الصَّلَاةِ قِيَامًا أَوْ قُعُودًا أَوْ رُكُوعًا أَوْ سُجُودًا عَمْدًا بَطُلَتْ. Now we are talking about the actions that in the salat. As-salat consists of 2 things. أقوال وأفعال. Actions in words to be said. Ad'iyah, prayers being said in the salat, like reading Al-Fatiha, reading a surah, saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, At-Tashahhud al-Awwal, At-Tashahhud al-Akhir, As-Salatu ala al-Nabi. All of these are words in ad'iyah being said. Aqwal. And then we have af'al, actions in the salah, standing, making ruku', making sujood, sitting. All of that are af'al. Now he's just talking about the af'al. If you increase an action in the salat. So the actions that could be added and increase in the salat goes into 2 categories. If I'm too fast, you can stop me and ask. إخواني إذا في شيء غير واضح ممكن تسألوا. I'm going slowly. That's what I'm thinking, but it could be so fast for you. So if anything is not clear, stop me and ask. So what I was talking about is that the salat ya ikhwani, the salat, the prayer, consists of 2 things. Al-aqwal and al-af'al. Words and actions. When we say words, we are talking about reading Al-Fatiha, surah after Al-Fatiha, saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, saying Rabbi ghfirli, saying At-Tashahhud al-Awwal, At-Tashahhud al-Akhir. All of that goes under al-aqwal, words. And then we have af'al, actions you do in the salah, standing, making ruku', raising your hand, going down for sujood, sitting between the 2 sujood, sitting for the tashahhud. All of that are actions. Now he's just talking about the actions. When you add an action in the salat, when you increase an action in the salat, that adding, that increasing goes into 2 categories. So far so good, inshallah? Clear? So adding an action goes into two categories. To add an action that's a part of the salat, this is number one, or to add an action that's not a part of the salat. زيادة فعل من جنس الصلاة وزيادة فعل ليس من جنس الصلاة. Adding an action that's a part of the salat, this is one, and adding an action that's not a part of the salat, that's number two. An example for the first category, when you add a rak'ah, adding an action that's a part of the salat. When you make two ruku', you praying, you make the first ruku', you stand up, instead of going down for the sujood, you make another ruku'. So that adding an action that's a part of the salat. You add a second ruku' that's not supposed to be added. One salat that has two ruku' and 12 rak'ah. Who can tell us what salat is that? من يعرف يا اخوان الصلاة التي تحتوي على ركوعين في ركعة واحدة؟ No. Fajr has one ruku'. I'm not talking about rak'ah. Ruku'. In the same rak'ah you read Fatiha. I'm coming. You read Al-Fatiha, and after reading Al-Fatiha, you read a surah, you make ruku', you stand up and you read Al-Fatiha again, read a surah and make ruku' again. What salah is that? No. Khusuf. The eclipse. Yeah. So that one, you make two ruku' in one rak'ah. Okay? So any other salat does not have two ruku' in one rak'ah. So if you add another ruku' in any rak'ah, that adding an action that's considered a part of the salat. Adding a rak'ah, that's adding an action that's a part of the salat. Clear, inshallah. Then we have adding actions that's not a part of the salat. An example, someone who is putting his hand in his pocket multiple times. That's an action that's not a part of the salat. You're not supposed to be doing it. Putting your hand in your pocket or fixing your hat and keep doing that. That's an action that's not a part of the salat. So all of that has rulings. So anyway, adding an action that's a part of the salat, if you do that intentionally, on purpose, that's invalidate the salat. Because you're not following how the Prophet Muhammad prayed. The salat that's 4 rak'at, you prayed 5 rak'at, that's invalidate the salat. One ruku' and one rak'ah you do 2, so that's increasing something that's a part of the salat, but you're not supposed to do it because the Prophet Muhammad did not pray it in that way. Okay? Did not pray it in that way. But if you add that action that's a part of the salat, sahwan, not intentionally, meaning that forgetting, you're not doing that on purpose. You're praying 4 rak'at, all of a sudden you stand up for the fifth. You don't know. After you finish, you realize that you add a rak'ah, or in the first rak'ah you did ruku' twice. So what do you have to do in that situation? You have to do sujud al-sahw to make up that mistake you do in the salah, because you added something in the salah. So what do you have to do? You don't have to cut your salah if you are in the salah. Keep on going and make sujud al-sahw at the end. An example, I'm praying and I'm in the 3rd rak'ah, but I remember that in the first rak'ah I did sujud 3 times. We have sujud twice. I did it 3 times. What do I have to do? Keep on praying, and at the end of the prayer, you do sujood al-sahw. In this way, you make up that mistake you did, which is adding 1 sujood in the first rak'ah. Doing sujood 3 times. Inshallah, clear. Okay. So, when should we do the sujood? Sujood al-sahw. When should we do sujood al-sahw? That relies on the type of the mistake we made. That relies on the type of the mistake we made. We have a lot of scholars saying different things. Imam Shafi'i said all of sujood al-sahw, whether you decrease, you increase, you have a doubt, it should be before the salam. Imam Abu Hanifa said no, after the salam, regardless of what type of mistake you made. Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal said before the salam, except in one situation, which is in the situation when you make a salam before finishing the salat. Shaykh al-Islam Ahmed ibn Taymiyyah, which is the right opinion, says it depends on the mistake you made. So if you add or have a doubt, you make the sujood after the salam. If you decrease, you do sujood al-sahw before the salam, the 2 sujood before the salam. But I don't want you to get confused. The bottom line is, whether it's for decreasing or increasing or down, you do the sujood before the salam or after the salam, you're good. Take it simple as that. Fiqh al-Sahl. So take it as simple as that. Yes. The bottom line is, if you make sujood al-Sahl for any type of mistake you made in the salat, whether it's decreasing or increasing or having a doubt, if you do the sujood before the salam or after the salam, you're good. Clear?
Yeah, all right. As I was confused, I usually try to think, should I do it before what mistake I made, and had me confused.
Yeah. So Shaykh al-Islam Ahmed Moussa says, if it's increasing or down after the salam, if it's decreasing, before the salam. But we have other Imam says before or after. So taking all of these, statement from different scholars, if you do it before or after, you're still good because you're doing one of the things that one of the scholars said it. So take it simple as that. فلا نشق على نفسنا يا إخواني. Before or after, it's good. There's no any problem. So we understood this point إن شاء الله. طيب يا إخواني، كنت أتكلم عن الزيادة في الصلاة، ونحن الآن نتكلم عن زيادة الفعل، لأن الصلاة تتألف من أفعال وأقوال. أقوال مثل قراءة الفاتحة، التسبيح، قول رب اغفر لي، التشهد الأول، التشهد الأخير، وغير ذلك من الأقوال التي تقال في الصلاة. وعندنا أفعال، ركوع، سجود، قيام، جلوس، كل هذه أفعال. نحن الآن نتكلم عن الأفعال. فالأفعال زيادة الفعل في الصلاة تنقسم إلى قسمين، إما أن تزيد فعلا من جنس الصلاة، كأن تزيد ركوعا أو تزيد سجودا أو تزيد جلوسا أو تزيد قياما أو تزيد ركعة، كل هذا من جنس الصلاة مما يفعل في الصلاة، فهذا له حكم مستقل. ومن الممكن أن تضيف وأن تزيد فعلا ليس من جنس الصلاة، كحك شعرك وحك رأسك وإدخال يدك في جيبك، كل هذه الأفعال ليست من جنس الصلاة، ليست مما يفعل تعبدا لله في الصلاة. فالقسم الأول الذي هو زيادة فعل من جنس الصلاة، فإن زاد قياما أو زاد ركعة أو زاد سجودا أو زاد قياما أو جلوسا، في هذه الحالة يسجد للسهو، يسجد للسهو جبرا لهذا الخطأ الذي صار في الصلاة ولهذا الخلل الذي صار في الصلاة وهو الزيادة. متى يسجد؟ طبعا العلماء اختلفوا في هذا. الإمام الشافعي يقول كل خطأ حصل في الصلاة سواء كان زيادة أو نقصا أو شكا يكون قبل السلام. أبو حنيفة يقول بعد السلام بغض النظر عن نوع الخطأ، سواء كان زيادة أو نقصا أو شكا، سواء كان زيادة أو نقصا أو شكا. وشيخ الإسلام فصل في هذا فقال إن كان للشك أو للزيادة يكون بعد السلام، وإن كان للنقص يكون قبل السلام. لكن الأسهل والأسلم أنه لو سجدت للزيادة أو للنقص أو للشك قبل السلام أو بعد السلام فما في بأس، صلاتك صحيحة إن شاء الله. سجدت قبل أو بعد سواء للزيادة أو للنقص فصلاتك صحيحة ولا بأس عليك بإذن المولى عز وجل. طيب. Now he talked about something general, talking about when you add an action that's a part of the salat. So what do you have to do? You make sujood or sahw. Now he's talking about little details that always happens and people ask question about. So he says, وَإِنْ زَادَ رَكَعَةً فَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ حَتَّى فَرَغَ مِنْهَا سَجَدَ. If it happens, you praying, you add a rak'ah, you increase a rak'ah. You pray in Salatul Maghrib, instead of praying it 3, you prayed it 4. But you did not realize that till you finish the salah. After making the 4th rak'ah, making the salam, afterwards you realize that you added a rak'ah. What do you have to do? You just have to do sujood al-sahw. Make sujood, sit, make sujood again, sit, and make salam. And you're done. So that sujood makes up that mistake you made in the salat, which is increasing a rak'ah. Increasing a rak'ah. And a lot of people ask such questions. They come to the salat and their attention is away. Instead of praying 3, they pray 4. After the prayer, they realize. What do you have to do? Just straight do 3, do the 2 sajdatain, the sujood for the forgetfulness, and then you are good in that mistake you made in the salat is made up. وإن علم فيها جلس في الحال فتشهد إن لم يكن تشهد. Another scenario. You pray in Salatul Maghrib, the same Salat that I gave the previous example. I'm praying Salatul Maghrib. Okay? After the third rak'ah, I stood up for the fourth. I'm not supposed to do so. I'm supposed to make salam, I'm done. But I stood up for the fourth, thinking that the third is the second. I was off. My attention was away from the salat. And that happens. Even the Prophet Muhammad forgets. And he prays Salatul Asr 2 instead of praying 4. We are human. Sometimes your brain overcome you. Sometimes you have a lot of problem in your brain, but that's not acceptable to be making such mistake every single time you pray. That's not acceptable. So you're not serious about your salat. Every single time you make a mistake, that's not acceptable. You're not paying attention. Because when you enter the masjid, you have to get disconnected from the world. Just pay attention to the worship you are doing. Pay attention to the salat. It's time for you and your Lord Allah Azza wa Jalla to enjoy the salat. So it's possible to be making mistakes sometimes, but not always making mistakes. And also, do not let the waswasa overcome you. We have people that have waswasa. Always, is it 3 or 4? Is it 4 or 5? And they let that disease develop. And when it develops, it's really hard to get rid of. So because of that, the scholar said, as Ibn Hajar Asqalani in his book Fath al-Bari said, if a person has such disease, the waswasa, always having doubt, he's making wudu, did I wash my hand? Why didn't wash it? Some people do the wudu maybe 10 times. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to free us from such disease, waswasa. Some people pray maybe 15 times. I pray, oh, the rak'ah is not good, let me repeat it. Allah did not accept it, let me repeat it. So if someone, inshallah none of us has it, if someone has such disease, what he has to do whenever he has the doubt, just throw it away. You're praying, it's 3. Don't say it's 4, it's a 3, keep on going. Don't think about it. Just keep on going till you heal from that and cure from that disease. So do not let that develop. So anyway, it's not acceptable every single time to make a mistake in the salat. But if it happens, you make a mistake, that's normal. And this class is to teach you how to fix it. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was human like us and he made a mistake. And he prayed Salatul Asr 2 instead of praying it 3. So now you are praying Salatul Maghrib. In the third rak'ah, you're supposed to make the salam. You didn't make the salam. You stood up for the fourth rak'ah. In the fourth rak'ah, you realize that I'm in the fourth rak'ah. I'm not supposed to do this fourth rak'ah. What do you have to do? If you did not make the tashahhud in the third rak'ah, you sit, make the tashahhud, make the salam, and make the 2 sajdat. Sajdatay sahw. If you have already made the tashahhud in the third rak'ah, you said, At-tahiyyatullah, then as-salatu, and everything was done. Then you stood up, what do you have to do? Just sit, make the sujood al-sahw, make the salam. In this way your salat is acceptable, and your salat is good, and the mistake you made in the salat is made up. And don't say, I have to finish the rak'ah. Don't finish it. I'm in the fourth rak'ah. I'm not supposed to finish this rak'ah. It says 3 rak'ah Salatul Maghrib. So I'm in the fourth rak'ah. I'm reading Al-Fatiha in the fourth rak'ah. Remember, it's the fourth. Just go down. Just go down immediately. Don't finish the rak'ah. Do not finish the rak'ah. Go down immediately, make the salam, and make the 2 sajdat for the sahw. طيب يا إخواني، تكلم المؤلف جملة إذا زدت فعلا في الصلاة وهو من جنس الصلاة. الآن يتكلم عن بعض التفاصيل الدقيقة التي غالبا تحدث، وهو الحالة الأولى قال وإن زاد ركعة فلم يعلم حتى فرغ منها سجد. رجل أو امرؤ يصلي صلاة الظهر، فجأة بدل أن يصلي 4 صلاها 5 وسلم، عرف بعد أن سلم وزاد الركعة الخامسة، ماذا يجب عليه أن يفعل؟ يسجد للسهو مباشرة وخلاص ويسلم. يسجد للسهو مباشرة ويسلم. طيب إن كان في الركعة الخامسة وتذكر ويصلي الظهر، المنبغي له أو الواجب عليه أن يصلي 4 ركعات، لكنه صلى 5 وهو في الخامسة تذكر أنه في الخامسة، ماذا يفعل؟ يجلس مباشرة ويسجد للسهو ويسلم. ما يكمل الركعة الخامسة. لا تقول أنا في الركعة الخامسة كيف أقطعها؟ لا، اقطعها. لماذا؟ لأنها زائدة وليست من الصلاة، فتقطعها وتجلس تتشهد وتسلم وتسجد للسهو. وبهذا تكون صلاتك انتهت وصلاتك صحيحة. Okay, something very important now to talk about, which is when you are traveling, safar. We know that Islamically in the safar, we have qasr, right? What qasr means, any salat that consists of 4 rak'at, you pray it 2. And that applies to 3 salawat, al-dhuhr, and al-asr, and al-isha. Am I going too fast, ikhwani? If anything not clear, just stop me and I'll explain it to you. I believe that I'm going slowly, but I don't know. So, we have something called al-qasr. You pray the salat, the salat that consists of 4 rak'at, you pray it 2 when you are traveling, when you are out of town, traveling, away. So, you pray dhuhr 2 rak'at, you pray asr 2 rak'at, and you pray al-isha 2 rak'at. And then we have the jam' also. You pray dhuhr and asr together, and maghrib and isha together when you are traveling. Alright? So now let's say someone who is traveling, praying salatul asr, 2 rak'at, he's supposed to do it 2, but he's stand up for the 4th. He's stand up for the 4th. What does he have to do? Should he continue and do it as 4 rak'at, or he has to go down and make sujud al-sahw? Must go down. But Abu Hanifa says something different, because Abu Hanifa in his madhab, his opinion that the qasr is wajib. The qasr is wajib. So he has to go down, the same thing. But the right thing about the qasr is that the qasr is sunnah. So Abu Hanifa, if you pray 4, you travel and you pray salatul asr 4, your salat is batila. Because you added, it's supposed to be 2. In his madhab, it's wajib to make qasr. But the right opinion is that it's sunnah to make it 2. If someone is traveling and prays 4, his salat is acceptable, no problem. But he's not doing the sunnah. He's not doing the sunnah. Someone is traveling and he prays 4 instead of praying 2. His salat is acceptable. So now he can pray 4 and can pray 2, and he stand up for the 3rd rak'ah. Should he say, okay, anyway, I can pray it 4, so let me just finish it and pray 4? Or he said, okay, it's not 4, it's 2, I should sit. That relies on his niyyah before starting the salat. If his niyyah was to pray it 2, so then the 3rd rak'ah is increasing. So he goes down, make the salam, make sujood al-sahw. If his niyyah before saying Allahu Akbar is to pray it 4, let's say he doesn't want to do the sunnah. He says, I want to pray it 4, and he says Allahu Akbar, and he stand up for the 3rd rak'ah. He can't say, okay, I can do it 2 anyway, so I'm going down. No, in the beginning, you made the niyyah to pray it 4, so the 3rd rak'ah is a part of the salah, and the 4th rak'ah is a part of the salah. You can decrease it. You cannot decrease it. So that relies on his niyyah. This is clear, inshallah, ikhwani. نعم.
إذا أنا كنت سافرت مكان بعيد ليومين أو 3 أيام وجلست في فندق ونويت أكمل من ال4 ركعات في صلوات مذكورة الظهر والعصر والعشاء وكمل ورجعت طبيعي. وبعض الناس يقول لك أنا طالما سافرت خارج مقامي بعمل القصد حتى أعود المنزل.
لا طبعا، يعني هو يقصر إلى 21 صلاة. فهمت؟ وهي المسألة خلافية. بعض العلماء يقول ما دام أنه مسافر فيقصر حتى يرجع، لكن هو يقصر إلى 21 صلاة. بعد 21 صلاة يتم، لأنه أصبح مقيم. أصبح مقيم، إلا إذا كان يعرف أن حاجته يعني مرتبطة بأسبوع أو ما شابه ذلك، فالفترة قصيرة وهو مسافر فيقصر. لكن لو ائتم بمقيم يتم. هذه من الأمور المهمة. لو ائتم بمقيم يتم. دخل المسجد في القرية التي سافر إليها أو البلد الذي سافر إليه، ثم الإمام سيتم طبعا، لأن الإمام مقيم ما يقصر، يتم مع الجماعة. لكن له بعد ذلك أن يقوم إن كان الصلاة الظهر ويصلي العصر بعدها جمعا، لكن ما يقول أنا مسافر فأقصر أو أخرج من الصلاة، وإنما يتم إن ائتم بمقيم. So the question that the brother was asking is, when you travel out of town, so for how long you could be making the qasr in the jama'? Travel somewhere and I'm staying for a certain period of time. So for how long I can keep, I'm not moving. I know if I'm driving, while I'm driving, I'm traveling. So I can keep Let's say I'm driving for 10 days. Doesn't matter. I'm driving for a month. I'm driving from a country to another, for example. So I'm still traveling. But what about I reach my destination and I'm going to stay there? I'm going to stay there. So what he has to do, he can make the qasr for up to 21 salat. Up to 121 salat. After 21 salat, he has to be making itmam, praying it for without making the jam'ah. So after 21 salat, he has to be doing the itmam without making the qasr. And whenever he is in town, he's in his destination, and he goes to a masjid, and the imam is praying for. He can't say, because I'm traveling, so I'm going to pray too. No, he has to follow the imam. He prays for with the imam, even if he's traveling. He follows the imam. But if it's Salatul Dhuhr, he can pray Salatul Dhuhr with the imam. And after the Salatul Dhuhr, he can stand up and pray Salatul Asr, making the jam'ah, because he is a traveler. But Salatul Dhuhr must be doing it the same along with the imam, not decreasing the salat. طيب. Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Mostly, sometimes the telephone is on, and we are doing the salat. So, can you tap the telephone to silence?
Yes. And this is what I was going to talk about, subhanAllah. Okay, so let me just do this masala and we finish because it's more than 30 minutes now. So, what I have been talking about is when you add an action that's a part of the salat. It's a part of the salat. That's clear, inshallah. Now we go into the second category of adding an action in the salat, which is an action that's not a part of the salat. Putting your hand in your pocket, touching your hat or your imama or your ghutra or whatever you are having on, or moving. Some people, they pray, they move. This movement is not allowed in the salat. It's not a part of the salat. We don't have any hadith that the Prophet, when he was praying, he was moving. So such action is not a part of the salat. So if it's too much, that invalidates the salat. Someone is just keep putting his hand in his pocket. But if your phone rings, you have to put your hand in your pocket and make it silent. Because that limaslahati salah, for the interest of the salah, you bothering yourself and bothering people who are praying. Unfortunately, we have people sometimes where they're in the prayer and the phone is ringing, they just let it keep ringing till it stops by itself. That's bothering. No, close it. The Prophet Muhammad was praying and opened the door for Aisha. So any movement that's in the interest of the salat, in the benefit of the salat, there is no any problem. I'm praying and in the line that's in front of me, there is a gap. I move in, I fill up that gap. And that movement does not invalidate my salat. But if I do such movement for no reason, that invalidates my salat. Let's say I'm praying by myself, there's no any jama'ah. Just for no reason, I just move to the next line. What the reason for this movement? So the salat is not valid because this harakah, this movement or this action, there's no any necessity for it. So any action you do in the salat, that's not a part of the salat, but is for the interest of the salat, there's no any problem in that. And you must do this, especially when your phone is ringing. You can forget. We're human. You think that your phone is on silent, but all of a sudden it's ringing. So do not let it keep ringing till it stops by itself. Stop it. Put your hand in your pocket and you can even take it out and put it on silent and put it back, no problem. Because that is in the interest of the salat. But also do not make waswasa. Some people, they're in the salat and they keep thinking. They keep thinking about, is it on silent or not on silent? So don't keep making waswasa. Stay focused. And also there's some apps that you can download and then automatically, whenever the adhan is called, it makes the phone silent for like an hour, and then it goes back to that regular ringing. So if you can have such app, it's good because it's going to help you and you're going to be in peace of mind. Anytime, whenever it calls the adhan by itself, it's programmed to go to silent, and after 1 hour, it comes back to the ringing mode. Yes.
It's about wudu. I heard one sheikh's lecture, and he says if you worry like whether I did wash my hands twice or 3 times, he says just stop it because if you do like 4 times, you'll fall into bid'ah. You would do like 4 times and it's not the sunnah. And it brings hadith as proof that Rasulullah sallallahu
وَمَنْ زَادَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ. The person who increase, he has like do oppression. But in terms of making the wudu and having a doubt whether it's the fourth or the third or the second, you have to know that the first wash is the wajib, the second and the third is not wajib. So you have a doubt, just keep on going. And you can wash your hand 3 times and wash your feet 1 time. Still acceptable. Some people think that if I started 1, I have to finish 1. It's okay, you can do 1 for some part of your body and do 2 for other parts of the body. So do not let shaitan always makes waswasa for you. Take it simple and easy. Focus. Thinking it's 2, that's 70%, 50% I think. Just take it. Keep on going.
So like, let's say I did like 2 times exactly, but I'm wondering whether I did twice or 3 times. So can I just stop right there and continue? Like
continue, because doing 2 you still have done the wajib, which is doing it once. The wajib, the wajib wash is the first one. The second, the third one is sunnah. So even if I do not do the second, the third one, I'm good. So if that was is always coming to you in the wudu, so you just throw it away. Once you have it, just keep on going. Go to the next part of the body. Simple as that. If you have and also do not let shaitan overcome you. Okay, I think it's the second. Don't make those who say, oh, a third, maybe I'm increasing. Okay, a second, do the third one. There's no problem. But do not let shaitan drag you. No, you drag shaitan. Simple. And always keep focusing when you start the wudu, because the wudu is worship. So when I'm making the wudu, I mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try to do it properly and keeping my attention with me. It's very important, because the wudu is worship. And I'm getting purified to pray to my Lord, Allah Azza wa Jal. So I should be focused always and have my attention whenever I start making the wudu. But anyway, this is simple, very simple in the wudu. Very simple. Do not let shaitan seduce you. If you feel that it's okay, I'm good with 2, I'm going to move to the next part, do it. If you feel it's 2, I want to do the third, okay, I want to do it. Even if it's the 4th, there's no problem, because you are fighting the waswasa. You didn't do it intentionally, because the hadith is about the person who does it intentionally. Does it 4 or 5? But you're not doing it intentionally. I'm thinking that it's the second and I'm doing the third, you're good. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not judge you for something that you didn't do it intentionally. You're not doing it intentionally, by mistake. So there's no problem, inshallah. Yes.
Suppose someone is praying and made just one sujud.
In what rak'ah? In what rak'ah? The first, the second, the third?
Maybe the third.
The third,
Then he got up for the 4th one. He's now having it in mind, maybe he made just one sujud. How would he?
Okay, if it's right when he stood up for the 4th, he goes back and do the sujood and makes sujood of sahw. But if he has passed that, he's in the ruku' in the 4th rak'ah. So then the 3rd rak'ah is cancelled, is not count. In the 4th is the 3rd, and he has to add 1 rak'ah and make sujood of sahw. You got it? Why repeat it? Repeat it. Okay. It's in the 3rd rak'ah. I'm coming. Lahma. So I'm coming. I'm not finished. Yeah. So he is in the 4th rak'ah. Okay? And in the 3rd rak'ah, he didn't make the 2nd sujood. He stood up after making one sujood. He stood up, and he is in al-Fatiha, and he has passed al-Fatiha. He's in the ruku' now in the 4th rak'ah. So what he has to do, just not to consider the 3rd one. The 3rd one is cancelled, is not counted, and the 4th is the 3rd, and he add a 5th rak'ah that's going to be 4th in this one. This way he makes sujood of sahw, and that mistake is being made up. It's clear, inshallah. طيب. السؤالك يا أخي.
stand up, he sat down. But you remember the second في ركعة ثالثة المفروض توقف.
طيب في الركعة الثالثة في أي موقف بالتحديد بعد السجود الثاني بعد السجود الأول في أي شو اسمه لحظة بالتحديد من الركعة الثالثة؟ بعد السجود الثاني.
حتى نفس اللحظة إذا كنت المفروض تجيب وقفت طوال سجود سهو؟
لا، لأنك ما يعني مش يعني هذا قد يعتبر أصلا زي جلوس جلسة الاستراحة، لأنه بعد الركعة الأولى وبعد الركعة الثالثة في جلوس الاستراحة، فتعتبر هذا مثل جلوس الاستراحة وخلاص، ما يجب عليك أنك تسجد للسهو. لكن لو طولت واعتبر يعني اجتاز مقدار جلوس الاستراحة فهذا زيادة في الصلاة، فعلى هذا تقوم وتسجد للسهو بعد السلام. فهمت علي؟ لو كان جلوس يسير بمقدار جلوس الاستراحة فأنت ما زدت أصلا، لأنه هو في جلوس الاستراحة بعد الركعة الأولى وبعد الركعة الثالثة. لما تنتهي من السجود الثاني ما تقوم مباشرة، تجلس قليلا ثم تقوم. جلوس الاستراحة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يفعله. فإن كان الجلوس هذا بمقدار جلوس الاستراحة فإذا أنت ما زدت أصلا. لكن إن تجاوز هذا المقدار وجلست يعني طولت وربما شرعت في قراءة التحيات، فأنت زدت التحيات أيضا والصلاة على النبي، ففي هذه الحالة هذه زيادة، فتقوم للركعة الرابعة، تكمل الركعة الرابعة، تسلم، وبعد السلام تسجد للسهو ثم تسلم. إن شاء الله واضح؟ واضح ولا أعيد ثاني؟ إذا مو واضح أعيد، مو مشكلة.
بس انت حتى لو قلت انه الاستراحه، حتى لو كنت ساهل انت في اللحظه دي، انت لو ساهل 1 سكند انت في سهو، لكن في 1 سكند يعني
انت لازلت ما زلت، انت فعلت شيء مما هو موجود في الصلاة، جلوس الاستراحة، فخلص يعتبر جلوس استراحة ولا بأس. لكن لو جلست وأطلت الجلوس، مكثت جالسا وربما قرأت التشهد والصلاة على النبي، ففي هذه الحالة تعتبر أنت يعني أضفت شيء في الصلاة، فتقوم للركعة الرابعة، تتم الركعة الرابعة، بعد الركعة الرابعة تسلم ثم تسجد للسهو، لأنه قلنا الزيادة نسجد لها بعد السلام. لكن لو صار أنت سجد قبل السلام ما في مشكلة، أيضا الصلاة صحيحة إن شاء الله. طيب، جزاكم الله خيرا، وصلي اللهم على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. إن شاء الله our next lecture will be Sunday, January the 29th, إن شاء الله. وصلي اللهم على نبينا محمد.